Today, we're discussing demos, and a pretty significant change that was made in 7 Days to Die Alpha 20. Now, we've got a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. In the later stages of 7 Days to Die, there are very few things more dangerous than this guy. The Demolisher zombie in 7 Days can make your life extremely miserable. Even with a fully upgraded horde base, just having a few of these bad boys go boom could be enough to completely compromise that base, leaving you in a whole world of trouble. Prior to Alpha 20, players had to be pretty creative in order to combat the demos, without hitting their buttons and making them go boom. However, there is a very important change that was made in the latest Alpha 20 update that makes the demos much easier to deal with. In previous alphas, the SMG and shotgun turrets were a no-go. You could not risk utilizing these electric traps to fend off the demos because they had a very high chance of actually hitting the demos in the button and making them go boom. If you did choose to use turrets, you had to be very careful and place the turrets in strategically chosen locations in order not to set off the demos. That is no longer the case in Alpha 20. The SMG turret and shotgun turrets no longer set off the demos, which means you can feel free to place these anywhere and everywhere you want without risking hitting that button and making the demos go boom. Allow me to demonstrate. We're gonna start off with the SMG turrets. These turrets have great range, pretty decent damage, and a pretty fast fire rate. So I've got these bad boys all wired up and ready to go. I've brought in a couple of demo volunteers. We're gonna flip this switch here, get our SMGs firing at our demos, and see what happens. So we'll flip the switch, and as you can see, the SMGs start firing, and they are continuously peppering the demos with 9mm rounds, yet they do not set off the button. And just like that, the two SMG turrets were able to take down the demos no problem, and no boom. Next up, let's take a look at the shotgun turrets. Now, the shotgun turrets have a much slower fire rate, and they can either deal a whole bunch of damage or very little damage whatsoever. It all depends on the range of the enemy. The closer the enemy is to the shotgun turret, the more damage it's going to do. But we're here to test these bad boys against these bad boys. I've got a few more demo volunteers spawned in. We're gonna go ahead and flip the switch here to activate our shotgun turrets, and we will see how these bad boys do. So we'll flip that switch, and immediately the shotguns begin to fire. And as you can see, they are continuously hitting the demos, but they are not setting off the demo charges. The demos will not go boom anymore. This is a pretty significant change, especially for the shotgun turret. Since the shotgun shoots out a whole bunch of pellets instead of one single projectile, they had a much higher chance of hitting that button and setting off the demo. But that is no longer the case. The shotguns can continuously fire on the demos, dealing enough damage to take these big boys down without making them go boom. So both the SMG turret and the shotgun turrets will no longer set off the demos. That is an excellent change that should make dealing with the Demolishers much easier. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the robotic turret. As in Alpha 19, the robotic turret still seems to have button-seeking ammo when it comes to the demos. So we're gonna go ahead and bring in another demo volunteer. We're gonna set our robotic turret down and see what happens. And just a few shots in, the robotic turret did hit the demo's button, making him go boom. Let's go ahead and test that again. So we brought in another Demolisher volunteer. Once again, we're gonna set down our robotic turret and see if it sets that demo off. And almost immediately, it hits that button and boom goes the demo. So while the SMG and shotgun turrets no longer set off the demos, the robotic turret still does. So use those SMG and shotgun turrets as much as you want, but on Horde Night, when you start getting demos coming around, I would highly recommend putting the robotic turret aside. Do not use it on Horde Night. It will almost assuredly set off the demos. But all things considered, folks, I think this is an excellent change. Now that the SMG turret and the shotgun turret no longer set off the demos, that should make the demos much easier to deal with. Now, since the Demolishers really don't show up until the late stages of the game, you should have progressed far enough to have access to turrets, either turret crafting, or perhaps you've bought a few of them from the trader, and your ammo crafting should be on point as well. The downside to using turrets is they do burn through ammunition, but at the later stages of the game, hopefully you've gotten to the point where you can craft enough ammo to get you through the night without too much trouble. And I must caution you once again, do not use your robotic turret to deal with demos. The robotic turret will almost always hit that button and make the demo go boom. But now that you know of this change, you can go ahead and use those SMG turrets and shotgun turrets as much as you would like. They will help you take out those demo jerks without having to fear setting them off and making them go boom. Now, if you'd like to see some more of my 7 Days to Die Alpha 20 tutorials, I've created a very special playlist that you can access by clicking the box in the top right corner of the screen. But for now, this is Savin saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll catch you in the next one.